Hey guys, so it's here bringing you another video. Now, welcome back to another episode of League Discussion, the series where I take a topic, I rip it apart my own opinions and experience, and I encourage you guys to join in the conversation in the comment section below. Now, if you've never heard the intro before, it's because we haven't done an actual League Discussion episode in quite a long time. We've been doing similar videos to these, like dev update videos, but they've always been linked with like an article. And technically, I think there is an article that I could use with this video, but we're doing two topics, and they're not that related. So I'll say there may be League content on right now or not. You might just have my face covering the whole screen. I'm not sure. But these are the type of videos that you can just minimize if you just wanted to listen and treat it more like a podcast. But I also say I really would encourage you guys to join in the comments down below. The reason being, and I've mentioned a couple times now, Riot likes feedback. They have become a lot more susceptible to feedback in recent years. And they got rid of the official Riot boards. So they use social media. They use, obviously, Reddit a little bit, but they also use content creators, especially those of us that are League partnered, for feedback. So I could let them know, hey, I made a video about these two controversial, whatever you want to say, topics. My audience has responded in the comments, and Rioters may have a little look. So leave your feedback. But the two topics we're covering, firstly, is the removal of DUOQ in Master and above for the upcoming season. What does that mean? Why did they do it? Why do I think they did it? Is that going to have any knock-on effect? Is that the start to Riot removing DUOQ in general? We're going to talk about that. And then secondly, SMURF. So this is something that may actually already be in the game that they've implemented. From my experience today on stream, I think they may have implemented it already. But we're going to talk about that as well, because it's something that I think people have asked for. But that I also think there is a big misconception to why some people smurf, especially content creators. Because a lot of people don't like smurfs, which is completely understandable. But I'll also explain, like, one, I'm okay with what they're doing, but also why I think smurfing is still going to continue, especially from content creators' point of view. So, first one is the DUOQ. So, yes, if you've not heard, DUOQ is being removed in Master and above, I believe in preseason, as an experiment, and they're going to see how it goes. And there's a number of reasons for it. So, I think a big reason for it is, I have said already throughout this season, Season 10 has become really the DUOQ season, that if you're not DUOQing, you're actually at a disadvantage, where you've always technically been at a disadvantage. DUOQing is easier than solo queue, 100%, because you're having communication, you're having synergy, you're guaranteeing hopefully one less troll on your team. It's a easier experience overall. But when you're getting in the very serious ranks, what was happening was you basically had to duo to climb. And there also were abuse cases every now and then. Obviously, there always is. And like I would say, he deserves obviously getting rank 1. The dude has tried for many years, but Panzer Dragon is a good example. Fellow YouTuber, I like the guy a lot. I actually watch his videos occasionally myself because he's a very good jungler, but obviously he's notorious for DUOQing all the time nowadays. And what was happening with him, and I don't think they hid it at all, and this is what I've heard, is that he had a DUOQ partner, which might be Viper, and Viper was swapping on different accounts with DUOQing that had lower MMR, thus giving them technically easier games than they normally would have had. And that only can happen if they're DUOQing. So there's always going to be like cases out there that people are DUOQing to make it easier in general, but there's also going to be even more abuse cases that people even make it more easier by kind of piling on smurfs, which obviously the second topic we're going to talk about. Maybe that problem would be fixed anyway now. But yeah. So I think the main reason is because in Master and above, if you're a solo player, it felt kind of terrible. And honestly, I'm going to say, even Diamond feels terrible as a solo queue player personally. So if Riot was like, we're going to actually experiment with this with Diamond and above, you know, there is a rumor that there's a new rank coming because it's happening in Wild Rift. If you guys didn't know, in Wild Rift, the rank Emerald is actually being implemented in the game. And I believe it's between Platinum and Diamond. I think that's where Emerald is going. And to me, that would be if they currently take what is Diamond 4 and make that the entire rank of Emerald, spread it out. I think that's a good idea because Diamond 4 is so different than the rest of Diamond, it probably deserves its own rank. And if they implemented that in League of Legends, that would be interesting because then they could do Diamond above no DUOQ, Emerald and below can do DUOQ. Maybe that would be good. But yeah, the core fundamental, I think, because you're at an inherent disadvantage if you're not duo queuing, and because it became so prominent to duo queue in the higher ratings. If you look at anybody that's basically been rank 1 of recent in the most of the servers, they are duo queuers. Like it's very rare for someone to be a solo player, and even when it's pros, obviously pros are duo queuing with teammates. So it's just become the thing, the norm. And maybe Riot's like, maybe for the peak player, it should be, and I think they even said in their message, it should be about the individual skill in like the peak rating. So that's what they're trying to do. It's an experiment. It might go wrong. I will say, I think they've done this before, and the reason why they flipped it and why they kind of went back to, oh no, you're allowed to duo, was because of pro play, actually. Pros were complaining too much to Riot about, we're a bot lane probe team, and we now can't duo queue together to get synergy in solo queue. That, I think, is a big reason why they flipped it around and let duo queue happen again in high ratings. But maybe Riot's philosophy now is how many pros there are in the world. Let's just say maybe 1,000 players are pros in League of Legends. Maybe a bit more than that. But in the total pro player, everything is 1,000 or 2,000 pros in the world. There's 100 million people playing League of Legends. So maybe they need to adjust it more. And again, remember, Riot is top-down balancing. They balance the game from the above to the below. But maybe they are having slight more separation between pro play and ranked, which I think is healthy. But what's my actual opinion on it? I've said why I think they're doing it. What's my opinion on it? I both like and dislike it. So obviously, I'm not master or above right now. I have been. I partially like the idea that it's going to be more solo orientated, because I do think there's and I'm trying not to be harsh here or anything, but I do think there's a lot of players in League in general, not just high rating, that wouldn't be high rating if they didn't do a queue. Which is both it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, because there are some players that they get really good when they're with a friend, for example, or they work well with synergy, and their synergy works well in a duo queue. That's why they can climb. There's a bunch of stuff. So I'm not saying it's inherently a terrible thing if they wouldn't be high rating. I'm not saying they're bad players, but that is a thing. And even Riot has said, we're trying into the higher tiers, kind of value the solo aspect more. So I'm okay with it. Obviously, I'm mainly a solo player, so it's not going to hurt me. I have obviously duoed a bit more this season. Me and Vixie have got a duo series, and I'll say I have had more fun in duo than I have had in solo, and that's why I'm hesitant. People say, oh, Huz must love this. That's why I'm saying yes and no. I think it's good for competitive integrity. It's good for the individual skill of the game, but I have experienced this season with duoing. It's really fun. Really, 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 really fun, and it arguably is more fun than soloing. So for people who are just naturally good at the game, let's say you're not a pro, you're just a duo, that you're both really good players and you so happen to both be master, and you've always duoed with your best friend. That is now being taken away. So that's where I feel bad for those players. If they are master level players, but they just so happen to duo with a really good friend, that is going to be a bit of a bummer. That's going to be a bit of a setback for those players. And I imagine there are players out there that don't want to play solo. They are players that I play with my friend on voice comms, on Discord. That's what I play. I'm playing a video game with a friend. They might stop playing ranked or at least solo queue. But this is where, some people I have already seen making the argument. That's what flex queue is for. So now we can kind of get into, do I think this is the start to Riot kind of phasing out duo queue in the solo ranked ladder? I mean, it kind of is, but do I think they're ever going to just implement, we are now just completely solo, no duo queue? I don't see that happening. I really don't. I think it would isolate a lot of people. Now, I don't know what the percentages are, but I imagine most people don't duo queue in ranked. But I imagine it's a pretty hefty percentage, 30 or 40% maybe. That would be my guess. And then you'd be isolating that amount of people. And if Riot go, oh, the idea is it's solo and then you guys can go play flex. Well, again, that's not a dream situation, but I could see how it's taken both ways. You could be a duo queue and then with a trio, and then there's a more synergy, it's more competitive. But then flex queue has always been known as the joke queue. If you've ever seen someone, oh, what rank are you? Oh, you're challenger, what in? Flex, and then people start laughing. It's never been taken at all seriously. What I would say is if solo queue does become solo queue, then flex queue might become more serious because more people would definitely play flex queue. But that is also where a bigger separation would even happen, I think, then. Like, oh, you're diamond solo player? Damn, okay, you must be a good solo player. Or you're diamond in flex? There is a separation, which I don't know if that's a healthy separation either. So I'm okay with it. I can see where Riot are doing it. I don't think it's going to be the end of DUOQ for the solo queue ladder. And hell, if it's the same as last time, would it surprise me if it gets reverted by the actual start of Season 11? No. Like, my guess, if I actually had to do a guess, they'll experiment it within preseason, players will complain, and they'll go, okay, you can do a queue again. And again, pros are going to be vocal about it. They were very vocal about it on social media last time. So I would guess, well, what I would say about pros, there is a bigger scrim network now than there ever used to be. Pros scrim way more now in their private servers and tournament realm than they used to, I think. So maybe they actually play less solo queue. I don't know. But, yeah. It's an interesting topic. Let me know what you think about it. Are you happy about it? Dislike it? Would you want solo only for ranked and then have flex queue as the DUOQ queue? Or you just think it's not needed? It's a video game. Let people have fun with their friends. Let me know what you think. It is an interesting topic. The second topic that we're going to cover is the new Smurf detection and Smurf queue that I believe may already be in the game. So I played a game earlier on the autofill account. And I kid you not, I would say 8 people in the game were Smurfs. And then the Twitch chat was going, oh yeah, that might actually already be implemented. So the idea of it is Riot has now got a better Smurf detection system. And they are now making it that a Smurf will go against a Smurf. And a Smurf will be with Smurfs. So in essence, like earlier, it was a gold level game technically. So the account I was on was gold 2. I can tell you right now that was not a gold 2 game. Quality-wise, that was a diamond level game, but it just so happened to be in gold. The reason being is everybody was a Smurf. So the quality was insanely high, but the rating's low. So why are they doing this? So the basic answer is obviously the player base doesn't love Smurfs. And it never feels great, I guess, to be beat by a Smurf. And Smurfing has become more common than it ever used to be. So maybe you don't get a Smurf every game, but I'd say on average, you get a Smurf maybe 1 in 3 games. So that might be a bigger ratio than Riot wants. Therefore, they are just implementing this to kind of phase out the Smurf problem, if you want to call it that. So what do I think about it? Obviously, I've had a lot of people ask me, you're a content creator, you do Smurf series, what's your thoughts? I'm fine with it. To be honest, like completely. I don't Smurf for some of the reasons that people think people Smurf for. So a lot of people think people Smurf to, they just want easier games. They don't want to play on their main account for harder games, their chicken or whatever. No. So the reason why I've always Smurfed, one is for education. It's easier to educate at lower rating than it is higher rating because I don't have to be all try hard about how I'm playing. I can actually talk more the lower rating I am. So that was like a big thing. But the bigger one is I have to play League, and this isn't a complaint, by the way, and I know some people are literally not going to get what I'm about to say, and that's fine. But I play League every day, and I've got to, force myself to play it. Even though I like playing the game, it's a very intense game. And it's a game that everybody cares about their rank. Everybody's quite proud about their rank, if you will. And it feels amazing when you're climbing, and it feels terrible when you're not climbing or when you're going down. So when you're on an account that has your name attached to it as a content creator, the Huzzy account, my main account, the pressure is a lot more. Just the general pressure. I don't care about the match quality as it were, like comparing to a Smurf. It's just playing on the pressured account every single day is a lot to do. Literally. So going on Smurfs, it relieves that pressure a bit. And that's very valuable. So this is where I'm going to say it's not going to stop Smurfing when it comes to content creators because it's an account that just doesn't have the Huzzy name. It's actually maybe a good thing for content creators because the match quality will be higher instantly. So maybe people are like, oh, it's not a Smurf just stomping in silver or gold. It's going to be better match quality instantly in a Smurf series. And obviously, it's going to make Smurfing incredibly hard to climb. If your match quality in gold is basically diamond match quality, yeah, that's going to be really hard to climb then, isn't it? So it actually might make it more interesting, if anything. So no, I'm fine with it. Does it hurt me in any way? I don't think it hurts me. It potentially hurts, my education that I would sometimes want to talk about more, because I can get away with it in lower rating to talk about my thought process and why am I doing it and what they're doing wrong. I like doing that, and that's harder to do in better match quality. But overall, I'm fine with it. I'm still going to do Smurf series. Like, that is not going to go away because, as I said, the pressure of playing on the main account all the time is immense. So having that little bit of a break period of playing on like, comment, sub, or definitely not Huzzy, or whatever account it may be, is just refreshing. And it kind of refreshes me to then go back on the main account whenever it may be. So, yeah. But let me know. I presume most of you are happy about there's now a separation Smurf queue. I imagine most of you are, Smurfs are no longer going to be in my games. I will say, they still are. Riot obviously need to detect it's a Smurf, so it might take 5-10 games at the beginning for them to actually go, oh, that's a Smurf, they're doing way better. So there will be Smurfing, but obviously it's going to be on the average rating when Smurfs first get placed. And after their placements, then they'll be like, oh, that's a Smurf, into the Smurf queue you go. But yeah. Anyway, that was an episode of League Discussion. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought down below. Really interested actually in both conversations. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.